Alistair MacLeod, you know, the great Canadian short story writer, probably, as far as I'm concerned, one of the greatest short story writers ever.
Yep.
Just fantastic, brilliant, wonderful pieces. But you wrote in his, you wrote a piece for the Oran there when he died just a couple of months ago, and you said he wrote stories with universal appeal, but could also capture the soul of Cape Breton. So when I think about that, I think about place. So like you use Shane, which is like a thinly disguised Inverness, really. So the importance of place in your work, and how important is that in a story or in anyone's story?
I think that it's extremely important for the writer to know what he's writing from, and you know, when just using that area alone, when in central Inverness County, and how it's been used by Alistair MacLeod, by Linda McIntyre, by myself. None of us have any similar experience, you know, like in our work. We do tell our story, but but Alistair's success in making his stories appeal internationally, you know, where you had the largest magazine in Japan sending over 2 reporters, an interpreter and photographer, to interview him for No Great Mischief, because that story resonated so strongly there. But
Another story with a long memory.
another story, yes.
Yeah.
But but as Alistair points out, Faulkner wrote in a very small region.
Right.
Lawrence did in a very small region.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he was fond of pointing out was that the whole Bible takes place in about 100 square miles.
Yes, that's right.
So
Yeah.
it is when your story's not where it's set, but where it resonates, that I think makes it successful, as opposed to you know, local literature that people locally might enjoy, but might get lost on strangers.
You mentioned the Lyndon McIntyre's books, and basically a large part of them is all on that long stretch of highway between Hawkesbury
And down to Craignish.
Down to Craignish,
Port Hood,
the long stretch, the long road, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, the building of the Canso Causeway, that book he wrote. I mean, it's all. But you're right. There's a resonance to it. There's something to it that you get something from that, and all his books, someone is either coming from there or going there.
Interesting that his memoir of the Canso Causeway.
Yeah.
What he's watching as a child for years is the mainland coming closer and closer to him as the mountain gets smaller and smaller. And that this is bringing serious change.
Yeah.
And everybody's talking about how much this is going to help Port Hastings and how much it, you know, but when it links up, it just gives people a quicker way to drive
to leave.
You know, and so again, we've got, you know, we discover these themes in ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, that's when I read that book a few years ago, and I thought, wow, he really captured that, and who would think of, like, we'll write a story about the building of the Canso Causeway, right? I mean, just and basing it as a child, seeing that, but you definitely see that when he talked about the mainland coming, the mountain shrinking.
Yes.
Yeah, all about change, and he perceived it through the child's eyes there.
Yeah. And then one day it was done, and and some people say it hasn't been the same since.
Many say that. Yes,
Yeah,
that's right. No matter how many pipers pipe across it.
That's it. Or Albert Macdonald said
Yeah.
it wasn't made of mainland mud and mainland clay. It wasn't made for coming. It was made for going away.
Yeah, there you go. Some writers will say when they're working on a piece of work, they can't read anybody else's stuff. They have to just totally focus. What about yourself? How do you feel about that? The role of the writer in reading other people's works? Are you close to that when you're doing your own work, or do you shy away?
No. I try to read as much as I can. I'm a very slow reader though, and I've got a stacks of books. You know what I have a hard time now doing is getting out of Atlantic Canada in a run of a year.
Right.
There's so much good literature being published between Newfoundland and the Maritimes.
Yeah.
You know, leave alone. And now, Inverness County,
Yeah.
I got at this Ullapool Festival I was telling you. It was the 10th anniversary, and a man named Mark Ringe was interviewing me, and I'd do a reading, and then interview. But he was explaining that, 10th anniversary. About 5 years ago, we connected with Atlantic Canada. He said last year we had Wayne Johnson here from Newfoundland.
Newfoundland, yeah.
He said the year before we had Alexander McLeod from Inverness County.
Yeah.
And the year before that, we had Linda McIntyre from Inverness County. And the year before that, we had Alistair McLeod from Inverness County. And he said, just for your information, Frank McDonald is from Inverness County. And he said, something's happening in Inverness County.
Yeah.
And since I come home, I've discovered 3 brilliant novelists in northern Inverness County that are just amazing and are going to explode on the scene, and you're going to be interviewing them.
Yeah, you could throw Lynn Cody in there for her many years down in Hawkesbury.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Must be something in the water, I guess.